Torpedo Rays has an annual event for Halloween.
So this is what $11 gets you, baby.
Unlike other Halloween events, we like to make it scuba.
We made it! I am afraid of no ghosts.
When I found out we were going to go to McNabs, I was really excited because I had heard a lot of history and different stories.
I think it's going to get creepy once the sun goes down.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
I'm scared the shit out of me.
I'm just hoping I get to solve another murder.
Another murder?
Oh my God.
Today we are at Fox Point Beach doing our annual pumpkin dive.
That's where a lot of our events happen. There's just a nice little picnic space. It's a nice dive.
We all bring our own pumpkins, we dress up in fun Halloween costumes, and we carve our pumpkins underwater.
Got our pumpkin in the truck.
Nice.
And we already have the inside carved out.
Oh, you're ahead of the game.
The whole dive community is invited, and it's just a fun day to play around and do things that we don't normally do underwater.
We do this event every Halloween. And basically today is a costume contest, both above water and below water. And then we go and carve pumpkins underwater. So the girls and I have an interesting idea this year that will only be unveiled to you after we get out of the water. It's all gonna happen in the water. So stay tuned, we can't give you the deets just yet.
It's a fantastic way to kick off the Halloween season. However, it also ends the dive season for a lot of divers in Nova Scotia. They usually make that their last dive because the water temperature starts to drop and the air temperature becomes freezing. It just like amplifies Halloween for me. That's how I know when Halloween starts, is when I do that pumpkin dive.
The pumpkin dive is a torpedo race thing. People all around the world carve pumpkins underwater every year for Halloween. But we've been doing this a long time, over 25 years. So like tradition, we've gotta host it.
Every year we go to the pumpkin dive, it is a total blast. I think it's such a cool, creative idea to be able to do an activity that everybody does this time of year, like carving pumpkins and dressing up, but make it scuba. I think that's one of the things that we get the most joy out of in being scuba divers.
So last year's pumpkin dive, the girls all dressed up like aliens. They had a UFO, all this stuff going on. It was very funny. But we're here to top the costumes this year. I think we can top it.
So last year at the pumpkin carving event, we were all inspired by our time with Lori and exploring the UFO crash site over in Halifax Harbour. So our costume was very obvious last year. This year, we want to top it and keep it a little bit more secretive. So we are going to, in a sense, transform underwater, and our costumes are only going to be apparent once we come out of the water.
You can't know what we're doing yet. It has to have a full effect. We'll make some move for the water.
I think we're gonna have a good turnout. Lots of people here at the beach this morning, and I think it's gonna be a great day.
So some people will carve their pumpkins underwater, and that means like taking all the guts and everything out underwater. Some people will carve the guts out on shore because they want to keep the pumpkin seeds. Some of the challenges that arise with that is if you are carving the guts out, like the pumpkin seeds out underwater, you have a bunch of fish come swimming at you because they want to collect and eat those pumpkin seeds or those pumpkin guts.
We're gonna make it a little easier on ourselves and gut the pumpkin on land and then go in the water. We have a little secret trick to help us underwater as well. Pumpkins are really floaty. Like I'm sure at some point if you're just looking at the water, you'll see a pumpkin float up to the surface. So we're gonna put a little weight in the pumpkin to help it stay down and make it easier for us to carve.
These are very good scallop shucking knives.
Oh, you guys are using your dive?
But for pumpkin carving,
in some ways,
they're
we're
not
purists.
fantastic. We're giving her a go.
Ah, hello. Open sesame.
So I don't know what I want to carve. And I think I'm just gonna let it happen as I have inspiration.
My plan is no plan.
Welcome to the pumpkin drive, guys. Our 25th pumpkin dive, so it's a good tradition that we do every year. So of course we're gonna get in the water, we're gonna carve some pumpkins. I think almost everybody did gut their pumpkins on the surface, which I find is a good tip. So if you haven't done that yet, feel free to gut your pumpkin before you get in. We'll get in the water shortly, so it's 10:30 now. Then we can throw our suits on, finish piecing everything together, get in. We have a few people staying on shore, but everybody should be in a buddy team or have a buddy. I'll be in the water, Jen, Alana, Sarah, Julia. There is a little bit of waves coming in, so just be very cautious when you're getting into the water. Everybody's happy?
Born happy.
Woo! Woo! I've been to many pumpkin dives in my life, but I'm always shore support. I'm always barbecuing or making sure everybody else is okay. So this year I actually got to dive and carve my first pumpkin, which was super fun.
We invited April and Julia to partake in our costume, but they had another secret plan that they also wanted to reveal on the day of. So we ended up doing 2 different little secret projects for Halloween.
There's a lot of secrecy in terms of costume planning between the 5 of us girls. Even though we're all best friends, I think we all kind of kept our cards close to our chest in this case.
Alana, Jen, and Sarah have their own surprise. We both kind of a couple of us just had these ideas that we wanted to go with, so that's the reason why we didn't end up doing it together. We had our own, I gotta do this kind of moments.
April and Julia also had a surprise costume. We didn't know what they would be. And then all I did see was these bikinis sitting on the chairs. So I was like, wonder why there's bikinis there. And they're pretty revealing bikinis. They're ones you would see down south, on a resort. So I was like, okay, where are they going with this? And then I saw blonde hair. And I was like, still not putting it together. And then they came around the corner.
It's gonna be a great year for costumes.
Halloween is by far my favorite time of year. Who doesn't love getting free candy? I think the one time of year that you can just kind of do what you want and get away with it, it's all standards just go out the window and you can just be you.
So everybody thinks really hard. We come up with these costumes, but we keep it on the down low. So this year, me and Julia have come up with a really good idea. We've told no one, and we're excited.
April and Julia, what they were doing kind of just started to evolve and show itself as they started to put their kits together.
Feeling some air in my bust area.
It's getting cold here. The snow is about to fly, and wouldn't it be nice to just be a warm water diver for a day?
I'm a warm water diver.
I think that costume idea is just hilarious.
They had on blonde wigs, they had these skimpy little bikinis on over their dry suits, and then all of a sudden they started posing in the sand and flipping their hair.
Should we do a slow motion? Yeah, we should definitely run on. We could lay in the sand. The camera loves you.
Earlier on in the week, Jen, Alana, and I were brainstorming about potential ideas as to what costume we were going to dress up as.
We don't take ourselves too seriously. We like to have a good time and just go with the flow.
Yeah.
That's my life motto. Go with the ebb and flow.
We were giving a few hints away as to what our costume might be, but we definitely wanted to keep it a secret and not have the costume be unveiled to everybody until we had finished the dive and we were able to make our dramatic exit.
The first step of our costume, and I think the first sort of reveal of little tips into what we were doing was actually when we were carving the pumpkin. If you put your investigative hat on, you might have noticed that we were carving the pumpkin a slightly different way than most people do when they got a pumpkin.
We'll draw our faces on so that way we know what we're gonna cut, because under the water sometimes visibility isn't great. We've also learned that we're gonna put a weight in our pumpkin to help hold it down. And we've also learned that sometimes things don't go your way, so you have to alter your carving when you're underwater.
I think our idea is slightly ambitious. So if we pull it off, I am going to be very, very impressed.
Big pumpkins because we have big personalities.
The other clue was that we all had capes on. So it wasn't very obvious that we had our costumes. We just looked like regular divers. We had our dry suits and our kits on, but we decided to put on little capes.
My superhero cape, because I'm a superhero. I'm really not a superhero. We were walking there towards the water, and we're just carrying our pumpkins. And people were like, this is your guys' costume this year? Like, this is kind of like, it's not like you guys. Like, why would your costume be so like, bleh? Right? So we were like, wait and see, wait and see. My costume's black and orange. That's all I got.
It was a bit of a struggle to get in the water with our pumpkins. We had to carry GoPros and knives and a giant pumpkin, so it was kind of a struggle to walk into the water with all of that. These pumpkins were also the biggest pumpkins that I have ever carved.
We had been in the water first, April and I, and then we saw the other girls, Alana, Jen, and Sarah. They had pulled up and we watched them descend and they immediately went to work. There is no pause, they just went straight at it.
Into the water and away we go into the abyss. We're down about like 20, 30 feet. Well, the two girls, Sarah and Alana, were great. Like they can stay in current, but a current takes me away. So I'm in the water holding a pumpkin in my crook of my arm, and I'm swimming in circles around the girls, carving a pumpkin as I'm swimming. And I'm just swimming and carving, and I'm just basically doing laps around them like a shark would. Like I was looking for something to eat.
Before we got into the water, I had a rough idea of what I might like to carve. This was actually my first time carving a pumpkin underwater. So I thought, let's go simple but on theme.
My pumpkin is gutted, she's prepared, ready to go. I'm getting in the water, not a thought in my mind about what I'm gonna carve. When we find a spot, I'm like, I know what I'm gonna carve. I'm gonna carve a seal on a rock. I don't know where that came from, but like, it's one of my favorite things. I love seals, and they do like this little banana pose where they have their tail up and their head up. When I brought it out, a few people didn't know what it was. They thought it was like a genie lantern or like some sort of gravy boat, but in my mind, I know what it is. That's all that matters.
To some, it would have looked like we were carving them upside down because the idea was that we were carving these pumpkins to put on our heads.
The real costume was only unveiled under the water and as we got out of the water, which everyone that was on the beach could see. So basically, our job was to figure out how to carve a pumpkin and put it on our head while being able to safely swim and scuba in the ocean.
Carving it was pretty difficult underwater because the stem was on what would normally be the bottom of the pumpkin. As soon as we had more holes and eyes and the mouth of the pumpkin carved out, the weight just wanted to roll out. So I think it was Jen's idea initially to make it more than just a pumpkin head, to be the Headless Horseman, so that we could come out of the water looking like the Headless Horseman himself.
I thought it was super cool. I can't believe that the girls could actually get out of the water wearing the pumpkins on their head without falling over.
Hello! I'm so foggy under here.
I'm glad it was them, not me. I don't know if I could have put the pumpkin on my head. Maybe I don't get scared, but I get grossed out.
I think that was a success, and I hope that everyone was surprised.
This was the second attempt at pumpkin carving, first attempt at pumpkin heads.
Yep.
And I think we were successful.
I think we nailed it.
This is just the beginning of our Halloween adventure, yeah. It's a good way to start out the festivities. I don't often celebrate Halloween to this capacity.
I think you celebrate Halloween more since you've known me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably than ever. Halloween's my freaking favorite.
It was a great day. There was candy, a barbecue, lawn chairs. What else could you ask for?
Well, the pumpkin dive was a huge success. We had a great time carving our pumpkins underwater and surprising everyone with our fun costume. But that was only the beginning of our Halloween festivities, and the next event was looking a little bit more spooky.
This is just the beginning. Tomorrow it's gonna get even spookier.
The next day, we met up bright and early with Captain Dave.
It is a very foggy morning in Halifax, and Captain Dave is about to take us to one of the spookiest places in Halifax.
Captain Dave owns a tour company and a transportation service that brings people to and from McNabs Island. So we asked him if we could go with him and experience the spooktacular island that is McNabs.
You know that McNabs is supposed to be haunted. Like, you always hear this when you're growing up as a kid. And I wanted to explore it because I was like, oh, it's gonna be really eerie. Like, I know there's been bodies on this island. I know people have been hung.
Captain Dave, he said he would bring us over, but he did warn us that there's a weird history with McNabs, and you know, there have been some odd things to happen there, maybe even haunted.
So Captain Dave seems to be part of all of our Halloween kind of spooky days, spooky adventures. Last year, we ended up going to Dead Man's Island with him. Dead Man's Island used to be a prisoner of war camp. People that died during this time were buried on the island. And it's rumored that there were so many bodies buried there that they're just buried on top of each other.
He has so much knowledge of the entire Halifax Harbour, so much knowledge of the Northwest Arm. He has a real knack for history, and I was so excited to learn more about his experiences and his knowledge of McNabs Island.
What's bringing you to the island on such a moody day like today?
I like the hauntedness.
The hauntedness?
The eeriness of the island, because years ago there was like a lot of stories about the island and people that lived there, and I know people that camp there, so I'm here for the ghosts.
You're here for the ghosts?
And the bodies.
Oh my goodness. It is a moody day. We've got the full moon approaching. It's the end of October, and I don't know if everybody's aware just of all
I'm
the
not really.
different things that have gone on over the last few hundred years on the island, so not sure that you'd still want to come if you did know.
Oh.
So there's actually been a lot of activity in Halifax and McNabs Island. So all throughout that time, there's been settlements, camps, a lot of use. There's been shipwrecks. It's been used as a quarantine center more than once for sick people on ships. You've got military forts out there. You've got a couple stories of soldiers going insane on duty in the middle of a cold, long 1943 winter. You've got a few houses that are still standing and have since now been essentially abandoned. Nobody's living in them. A couple of them are taken care of, a couple of them are in a bit of a dilapidated state. You can see through the windows, and if anybody's watched like something like the Blair Witch Project, if you want to get right down into the foundation and peek through the foundation of the window of the building. I don't do that anymore, personally, but if you want to,
Why don't you do it?
Try. Well, we'll get into that maybe later.
I am just so excited to step foot on the island for the first time. I feel like sometimes I feel like I've explored like almost every part of this province, but then there's just so many more places that I haven't yet been. So this is a whole new adventure for me today.
Halifax is such an old port that there are a lot of ghost stories associated with it, and there are a lot of people that unfortunately died in bad circumstances. So there are a lot of haunted islands, and there's no shortage of ghost stories associated with this province.
We loaded all of our stuff up onto Captain Dave's boat, and we're leaving the Arm. It's a creepy day. Like, we're going out into the fog. We can't really see what's ahead of us. We knew that the day was going to be a spooky, spooky day.
I was so excited when the McNabs Island, the beach that we were going to dock on, came into view. It was an interesting sight to stumble upon. There was all sorts of like decrepit barges that were just sitting in the water, and when we came, it was very low tide. So a lot of those pieces of the old ships and barges were actually very exposed.
Pulling up to McNabs Island, we could see how low the tide was, and it gave us an opportunity to explore these ships not underwater. So we could actually see how the wood placements were, where the joints would go together, the type of material that these structures were made out of. And it was really cool for us to see, only to know that we're gonna go underwater and take another look to see how different it is. It almost allows you to kind of start building a story in your mind of like, how did this ship get here? Why is this ship in this location? Did people die on this ship? So I think it leaves a lot of unanswered questions for us.
Now that we're boots on the ground here on McNabs Island, how's everybody feel? You stretch your legs?
Feeling spooky.
Spooky. So yeah, this area here is might be interesting to everyone. As you're scuba divers, you've got a couple of old beached shipwrecks here. So
I was gonna say, is that what that is there?
yeah, I've never snorkeled. I've never dove on either of these two wrecks, but I'd be really interested to know what's below the surface. Well, I'm hoping that maybe you will go in and then share with me the best parts.
So once we get off the boat, we head to the beach with Captain Dave, and he kind of gives us an overall briefing of the island. He's telling us about the fort, he's telling us about the abandoned homes, all these things, and he sets us free to explore. However, lets us know that he won't go up there alone at night.
When you get there, just be observant. I'd be really interested to know your experience when you come back.
By the way he was acting and the fact that he wouldn't come up the hill with us, I think that the girls and I could all tell that there was a lot more to the story than he was letting on, and he had had some personal experiences up that hill.
So I said to Captain Dave, I was like, can we go up and explore for a skinny minute? And he was like, yep. I was like, where are you gonna take us? And he was like, nope.
At the top of this hill is where Dave said something spooky maybe. Oh my God,